Is it a good idea to put your drop or your 403B money or 457 money into a trust? We're going to get into that in this video. Okay, so something recently that we've been talking to people, and a pretty common question is, should I put my money into a trust? Well, that's really a question for an estate planning attorney, but I'll let you know some of the pros and cons that we have found. And then if you still think it's a good idea, maybe consult with an estate planning attorney on that. So number one, if you take your drop money or 403B or 457 money and put it into a trust, it all becomes taxable. You cannot put pre-tax money into a trust. So if you've watched our other videos on we talk about the I Love Uncle Sam and everything else, it might create a pretty big tax liability if you went and put it directly into a trust. What a lot of people do if you want it to go into a trust is you assign the trust as the beneficiary on your accounts, okay? So if you're thinking about doing that, you probably want to look at seeing, okay, does it make sense to actually pay all the taxes and have that huge tax liability all up front? Or should I just gradually, or should I put it as the beneficiary on the accounts and let it go in afterwards? Something to think about. The other thing that some people do is they gradually take money out and they put it into the trust that way. So instead of, let's say you have $300,000, instead of having $300,000 in taxable liability, they take out $30,000 a year and put that and pay the taxes and then put that portion into the trust. So it's not all taxable in 1 year. This is still something that you want to talk to your CPA and your estate planning attorney about, but that just know if you go and take all that and put it directly into a trust, now it's going to be taxable because you haven't paid taxes on drop or your 403B or deferred comp 457 yet. So does it make sense to use a trust? Depends on the situation, right? A lot of times what I tell my clients is, do you want your beneficiaries to get all of the money at once, right? And if your beneficiaries are very responsible and make a good living, sometimes I hear from my clients, hey, my kids make more than I do. They max out their 401k. They're very responsible. Then let them just assign it to them. It doesn't need to go to a trust. But if you assign them as beneficiaries. But if you have, let's say, younger kids, right? Some people are leaving money to grandkids who are 5, 10 years old, or their kids have other issues, whether it's, they're just not good with money, or, we've had some people who are like, okay, my kids, kind of deal with some addiction issues or whatever it might be. Then it might make sense to have the money go to a trust and then have the trust, have it drawn out exactly how to pay that money out. Because then maybe instead of them getting that $300,000 up front all at once, then they can spread, then you can say, okay, well, I want them to be paid out $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month. Or you could say, I wanted to pay out for their schooling, I wanted to pay out for their college, and then when they're 35, have the rest of it paid out to them if it's younger people. So those are options there as well. Once again, talk to an estate planning attorney if you're in that situation. But if your kids are very responsible, or whoever your beneficiaries are very responsible, then just assign them as the beneficiaries. They can take that money, any pre-tax money, put it into what's called an inherited IRA, and they can take that money out over 10 years. So they don't have to pay all the taxes the year that you pass away. They can take that money and gradually, over 10 years, pay the taxes and control it how they want. Maybe take the after-tax money, have that go into their own IRA or something like that, right? So trusts can be very restrictive, and if you don't want those restrictions on your beneficiaries, then they might not be the best option. But if you do want those restrictions and you are worried about making sure that money is used for a good thing or over a long period of time instead of all at once, you might want to consider making the beneficiary of your accounts a trust. We did another video on estate planning and a software that we like to refer people to if they just need a very basic trust or will, I'm going to go ahead and link that up above. As we're not estate planning attorneys, I do recommend that you talk to somebody. But if you'd like to talk to somebody about beneficiaries, making sure that everything's up to date, making sure that your accounts are set up correctly to go to the correct beneficiaries, that is something we can help with. And if you'd like to talk to somebody, I have the link to our calendar down below. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.